I watched a recording of myself leading a meeting and I counted. I said, I'm sorry 11 times in 1 hour. I'm sorry, can I add something? Sorry, quick question. Sorry to interrupt, but I was apologizing for participating in a meeting I was supposed to be leading. And then someone asked me, what are you sorry about? I did not have an answer. And that question changed everything for me. This is Rise with Betty. Let's talk more on that. Have you ever caught yourself apologizing when you did not do anything wrong? You're not alone. Research shows women apologize more than men, not because we make more mistakes, but because we are socialized to minimize ourselves, to make ourselves smaller, softer, and less threatening. So for women navigating cultural expectations, this gets even more layered. Apologizing isn't just a habit, it's a survival strategy. But here is what I learned the hard way. Apologizing for your presence doesn't make you more likable. It makes you invisible. So today, I'm walking you through exactly how I unlearned these habits. Not overnight, not magically, but in 4 deliberate stages that you can use starting this week. Before I show you the stages, I need you to do something. Think about the last time you apologized at work. Now ask yourself, did I actually do something wrong? If the answer is no, if you were just existing, speaking, or contributing, keep watching. Because I'm about to share what will change how you show up forever. This transformation happened in 4 stages. I'm going to show you exactly what I did and at each one. So stage 1, noticing the pattern. The breakthrough came when a colleague recorded one of our meetings. I watched it back out of curiosity and I was horrified. 11 times I said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, can I add something? Sorry, quick question. Sorry to interrupt, but I was apologizing for participating in a meeting I was supposed to be leading. Once I saw this, I couldn't unsee it. So I did something uncomfortable. I started tracking it. Every time I said, I'm sorry, I write it down. I asked myself, what am I actually apologizing for? The answer is nothing. I was apologizing for taking up space, for having a voice, for being in the room, and that realization made me very angry. Not at other people, but at myself, because I've been raising myself and calling it politeness. Stage 2, understanding the root. So once I noticed the pattern, I had to understand where it all came from. For me, it was cultural and gendered. I grew up in a culture that valued humility, where speaking too directly was seen as arrogant, where women especially were expected to soften everything they said. That wasn't wrong. It was a culture I grew up in, but in a corporate environment that I was in, fast-paced, direct, competitive, that humility was read as weakness. I wasn't being humble, I was being erased, so I had to make a choice. Keep apologizing and stay invisible, or stop apologizing and risk being seen too arrogant or too much. I chose visibility. And once I made that choice, I couldn't go back. Stage 3, replacing the habits. So this is where the practical work begins. I couldn't just stop apologizing. That was cold turkey. My brain would panic. I needed replacements. So I made a list of translations. Instead of saying, I'm sorry, but I said, I have a thought on this. Instead of saying, sorry to interrupt, I said, building on what you just said. Instead of saying, I'm sorry if this is a bad idea, I said, here is what I'm proposing. Instead of saying, sorry, can I ask a question? I said, I'm curious about. Instead of saying, sorry, one more thing, I said, before we move on. So at first, it felt harsh, too direct, too bold, like I was being aggressive. But then something shifted. People started listening, not because I was louder, but because I was clearer. I wasn't hedging. I wasn't softening. I was just speaking. And it turned out that's what leadership sounds like. Not aggressive, not rude, just clear. Stage 4, owning my space, the inner work. So the final stage was the hardest because it wasn't about language, it was about belief. I had to stop believing that my presence was an imposition. I had to accept I belong in the room, my ideas have values, taking up space isn't selfish, it is necessary. This was the hardest part because it wasn't just about changing what I said, it was about changing what I believed about myself. So I started practicing affirmations, not the woo-woo kind, but the truth-telling kind. Every morning I would say, my voice matters. My ideas are valuable. I don't need to shrink to make others comfortable. And slowly, very slowly, I started believing it. 6 months later, I was in a leadership meeting and someone interrupted me mid-sentence. Old me would have said, "Oh, sorry, please go ahead." No, but Mimi said, "Hold on, let me finish my thought." The room went quiet and then I continued. No one questioned it, no one pushed back because I had claimed my space. And when you own your space, others respect it. So this is the paradox. The more you apologize, the less people respect you. The more you own your presence, the more they listen. I want to be honest about something. There are still moments when the old habit creeps in. When I catch myself about to say I'm sorry for absolutely nothing. And in those moments, I pause, I take a breath, and I ask myself, what am I actually sorry for? And 99% of the time, the answer is nothing. So I replace it. I keep moving forward because this is not about perfection, it's about progress. And every time you choose visibility over invisibility, you're making progress. So here's what I want you to think about. How often do you apologize when you've done nothing wrong? How often do you shrink yourself to make others comfortable? And what would it feel like to stop? Not to become aggressive, not to become rude, but to simply take up space where you've earned. Here's the challenge for this week, and I want you to see your results. Track your apologies. Every time you say, "I'm sorry," write it down. Then ask, was that necessary? If the answer is no, write that down too instead. That's how you reprogram the habit. Not by judging yourself, but by building awareness and then building a new language. Come back and comment, I tracked. Tell me how many unnecessary apologies you caught. No shame, just collecting information, because awareness is the first step to transformation. You don't need to apologize for your presence. You don't need to make yourself smaller to be valued. The world doesn't need more women shrinking. It needs more women rising. And that starts with owning your space. So if this resonated with you, please share with other women who need this reminder. Also subscribe if you've not subscribed. I am Betty, and this is Rise with Betty. See you on the next episode. Bye.